And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go visit our friends at Hail Mary Sports Bar. They're in Cheviot on Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District. They got 27 TVs, a 9-screen video wall, TVs facing the outside area, outside of the bathrooms. There's not a bad seat in the house. They subscribe to every sports package that DirecTV offers. They can stream all the games, and every Cincinnati sports game will always be on the video wall. They have food trucks on the weekends and randomly throughout the week, and a brand new cooler, brand new draft lines. Not only do they pour the coldest beer around, but they pour it in 32.8 degree beer frosted glasses. So go see them. Hail Mary Sports Bar in Cheviot. All right, Aaron. Originally we thought Keegan and I would maybe get together and do something after the scrimmage, but Aaron was able to make it down from Athens. He is you have a lovely outdoor setting for your video today.
It's the quietest place around right now with six children in my mom's condo currently. So,
oh, that sounds awful. That sounds terrible.
It's awesome.
It was about as perfect a day as you could ask for.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
I don't remember ever in 17 years of covering camp a mid 70s, no humidity, nice breeze. Like if you drew up a perfect mid-August day, this would be it. And it was delightful.
It's going to make these kids love Nippert even more and be even more upset that they have to go back to Camp Humid Ground.
It's supposed to be nice the rest of the week, is what the forecast says. So I let it roll. I know that makes sense. Actually, it makes the coaches mad because the coaches like that adversity. They like the heat and guys being a little on edge and like having to battle through it.
Saw a little of that today, a little on edge towards the end.
Well, I'll talk about that for a second. It was not Gavin Grover caught a pass over the middle. Well, Gavin Grover got his hands on a pass over the middle, and I think it was I think it was Sorsby. It was either Sorsby or Lichty.
It was Sorsby, I'm pretty sure.
He led him right into Kai Stokes, and Kai Stokes lit him up.
It was his not welcome to the NFL, but his welcome to the NFL moment, right? Like,
yeah,
we've all seen movies and such. That was his welcome moment for sure.
So they threw flags, but I was with multiple photographers who were in the end zone, and everything had him hitting him right here.
The only flag that would have been warranted if he had gotten it, and this is the flag that I would have thrown, would have been taunting at the end because he stood over him and barked at him, essentially. I mean, I don't know what he said. He didn't actually bark, but, I mean, he might as well have.
That would have been sweet. But yeah, it was a massive lick. Like, he smoked him. And Grover dropped the ball and hit the ground pretty quick. And the official had a long talk with Stokes afterwards. The empirical evidence I saw was not helmet to helmet, was not targeting. He just lit him up.
Yeah, it was funny because Coach Sat even got in with the ref and had to have an explanation of what actually happened. I think he was out there for a couple of minutes as well, kind of getting his practice reps in as well for for some coaching.
So Keegan will have a detailed written report, but we wanted to get you a video as well because some people like videos, some people like the writing. We want to make sure everybody is happy. You talk about explosive at the beginning of the scrimmage. We were not even aware the scrimmage was starting. One snap, Sorsby, Joe Royer, 60 yards, touchdown.
Joe Royer, that was the first time I've been with Joe Royer, like physically around Joe Royer. he looks like he was made on a creative player on Madden. I mean, he is everything that you want in a pass catching tight end.
Yeah, he's 6'5". He's fast. He's got a six pack, and he makes sure he knows it with the jersey tucked in. He's got the afro like that you would create on a creative player, like speed, hands, toughness. But then they turned around and come back the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Royer caught a 40-yard contested catch and
Mm-hmm.
then a 30-yard touchdown. So in like the first 8 plays of the scrimmage, Joe Royer had 3 catches for 130 plus yards and 2 touchdowns.
And I think the other 2 of those first 8 plays, the other 2 catches were by Sherman and Grover.
Yeah. So the tight ends were heavily used. From there, and then Evan Pryor had a 30-ish, 30 plus yard run right after the second Grover touchdown. And then that was about it for the offense for about an hour, it felt like.
I mean, if you were a tale of 2 cities, right, is essentially what it was, because we did see it was kind of like when you see a team come out and run their scripted first drive, maybe second drive, they come out and they connect and connect and connect, and then you're wondering what the hell just happened. And that the defense buttoned down, and the defense pretty much got things done nearly the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think the offense kind of took back over at the end when they were doing situational red zone, which thank God.
Good to see. Certainly good to see.
I will say it was very, for me, I mean, I know you weren't there yesterday, but it looked a lot like yesterday in that the receivers just weren't open a lot. Like quarterbacks were having to, if they were going to complete passes, it was going to be in very, very tight windows. I don't think the quarterbacks played particularly well in the middle portion of the scrimmage, but I think some of that can be attributed. Like if I go over my notes, Sims and Jordan Young making a tackle for loss. Armani Arnold pass breakup. Marquavius Sabor pass breakup. Jared
Kalen
Butler,
Carroll.
A sack. Kalen Carroll. Josh Minkins almost had a pick 6. Monte Whedon laid a nasty hit on Evan Pryor.
And all of this isn't even mentioning the defensive line was getting after the quarterback as well. And obviously you're not sacking the quarterback, and they did do their best, I think, to blow the ball dead in a lot of situations. But I think there were a lot of other situations that I saw, maybe not a lot, but at least a handful, where you would have seen a guy make a play on the quarterback and it maybe have a hurry or a hit that you weren't able to really see. But they certainly shied away from getting anywhere near the quarterback.
Yeah. Garrison Butler for a while, for a lot of time today. And I put this in the notes last night. Jalen Hunt has not practiced the last 2 days. The vibe I get is not particularly great. I think they're still figuring out exactly what is wrong.
Coach Satt talked about it in his postgame presser as well.
Yeah, so they'll hopefully have a better idea early in the week.
Right.
But eek.
On the other side of the coin, though, we got to see lots of freshmen play, and they held their own.
Yeah. We saw for multiple drives a 3 freshman defensive line of Garrison Butler, Lendrick Barber, and Marquez Parker, and they didn't get bullied. I mean, like I said, Barber had a sack, and I thought Parker made some plays. I really like the potential of Lendrick Barber. But I think the story of the day for me, the linebackers were flying.
Well, when I did notice at one point when Jared Bartlett had a sack, you did have the 3 freshmen in on the line, and he was able to get free because those guys were taking up all the blockers, which is what you want to see.
Yeah. And then he did a sweet like barrel roll and landed on his knees and kind of gave it the guns. I was like, okay, Jared Bartlett, okay.
Are,
But
are we in a time where you're allowed to do finger guns anymore? I don't know if you're still
I
allowed to
don't
do
know.
finger guns.
I don't know what you're allowed to do. Royer said that he dunked the ball on the
I knew you weren't allowed to do that because you're not allowed to use props, and they
yeah,
consider
he
the
dunked,
field goal post a prop.
and the ref was like, you can't do that. And he was like, I know, but this is a scrimmage and I can. Like
I scored 1, 2, 3, 4 of these,
yeah, he was
bro.
counting after each one of them.
I'm running out of celebrations.
But yeah, I mean, I the defense was really impressive for a lot of that middle section of the scrimmage today. And that's for me, like that's what you want to see. That it didn't start the way they wanted it to, but they
Correct.
settled in and they made plays. And like a lot of times you'll see if it goes south early, the ball just continues to roll downhill. So credit to the defense for picking it up and showing, a little fight.
I know one of the comments. I don't even remember who you were talking to at this point, but one of the comments that you had made was the fact that you're seeing. It may have even been talking to Coach Sat afterwards or Coach Fight, but you're starting to see some of the secondary react and kind of have that unspoken communication, which is, I guess, at the point you want these guys to be at after a week of camp now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought Josh Minkins made multiple plays today. I think Derek Canteen is going to be somebody that the fan base loves because he just seems to have a great like knack for being in the right place at the right time. Minkins has some of that too, where like when the defense needs a big play, one of those two guys are there to step in and make a play. What else you got? This was your first time kind of seeing
It,
things.
it was, and I know we've talked a little bit about the speed of this team and how the measurables are that they are faster, but watching it, you can actually see the speed difference. It Everything was moving faster. The third team with Samaj Jones in was moving faster, and
Yeah.
I think that that's certainly encouraging when it's tangible, right? When you can physically see the difference in what was going on. The catches that were made, uh, they were made. I don't recall really seeing a bunch of blown coverage anywhere. I think
Right.
everything was contested. Even the stuff that was happening early on with Joe Royer, I think only one of those was really a blown coverage where he was just wide open, no one around him. And I think that was the first one that we all missed. Maybe the defense wasn't even ready. So I guess I just am encouraged by the fact that everybody's where they're supposed to be. They're it didn't seem like there was a bunch of confusion out there on the defense's part. I think they were creating confusion, but I don't think that we saw a bunch of confusion back there. So I was certainly encouraged with some of that.
Well, and
And
Royer
just
even said that the one where the broken coverage, he was supposed to be taking away the top so that they could run a crossing route. And everybody jumped the crossing route, and he was just kind of, hey, I'm out here. Throw
he
it to
was the
me.
last read,
Yeah.
the last read. One of the long Samaj Jones runs was again a broken play that just I think was it a bad snap, I believe, or
Yeah,
something
it was a
happened.
bad snap on a play that I think it was a running play that was supposed to go to the right, and it was a bad snap, and he kind of snatched it up with one hand and like he spun left, and there was just
20
grass.
yards. So,
Yeah, like, well,
but
there
again, I
wasn't
think
grass, but there's fake grass.
this is another example though of the speed being improved because
Yeah.
he's able to make a 20-yard play out of literally nothing. So again, just things that I was encouraged by that we've talked about, but getting to see it, uh, the proof is there.
A couple impressive runs I thought by Chance Williams.
I like
Um,
him a lot.
no, I told you I got a thing for Chance. I got a little man crush on Chance Williams.
He's just kind of got it right. Like
Yeah.
he feels he feels like when you're playing a video game, you were just hitting all the buttons. You're almost button smashing with Chance Williams. You spin move, jump step, you know,
Yeah.
he's doing
Jump
all of
cut.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I thought Tony Johnson had a couple big catches today. Lichty hit him for about 50 down the sideline. They didn't get in, and then they got down there and punched it in. I don't know. And then the last play, Samaj found Masari kind of up over the top. They were at
Running
the
that fade.
40-yard
Yeah.
line. It
He
ran
ran
a
a fade.
fade to him, and it looked like it almost came out the back of his hands, but he was able to just kind of squeeze it tight enough to make a play in the end zone there. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff we've talked about quite a bit. Like I really like Jaquan Sanks. I'm really starting to like Marquise Sabor.
So
Um,
as you're bringing up freshmen, I think I have an observation today. I know that there's been a lot of talk about how these freshmen don't look like freshmen, and I think I disagree. I think that they look like freshmen. I think this is the difference, though, between the American
like
conference,
a high level
the,
freshman to
the
yeah,
American conference, and
yeah.
the Big 12 freshmen. Because I
I
think,
don't disagree with that.
especially on some of the trenches spots, maybe not so much the defensive line, but on the offensive line, I think it's certainly noticeable. Especially when you look and see some of the kids that did come up, like
Yeah.
Jonathan Harder, Ethan Green, um, Evan Tengestal. My goodness, he's certainly filled out. I mean, you see some of these linemen,
Yeah.
and you're seeing how much they don't look like freshmen anymore. But the incoming freshmen, I think this is what you should expect to see, guys that you can plug and play, because we've seen some of the Power Five, Power Four now teams that have been able to play freshmen. Maybe not again, not
I mean,
necessarily in the
Iowa
trenches.
State played a ton of them last year and had a good
So
season.
I would hope that this is maybe a trend that you see some of these freshmen come in, maybe not necessarily play a ton of time, but at least push the guys that are here for some of that playing time. And I hope that that is something that we continue to see here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the expectation when you're playing at this level is you're getting kids that maybe you don't have to wait as long. And
Mhm.
you know what, Aaron? The thing that you want is you want to have to sit your freshmen because there's so many established guys ahead of them that there's
Sure.
maybe not a lot of room for them to move early. And that's why I focused on it this year because I think with all the transfers, like if they are
Mhm.
equal, that's different than like you're coming in and there's a guy that's been waiting for 2 years to get his spot.
Yeah. But
So
again,
they're just in a different situation this year.
if those freshmen are pushing those guys even for that
Yeah,
playing time, we I mean that used to be Luke's mantra, right? Luke and Brady's mantra was iron sharpens iron. I think we're seeing
right.
some of that here with freshmen able to kind of make some noise here in the early days of camp.
Who was your MVP of the day? You going to roll your?
Easy. I don't think there's even anybody that's arguably close.
I would the linebackers for me. Like we've talked a ton about the safeties.
Johnson Thompson
Getting
was
the
all over the place.
getting Thompson, Bartlett,
Dingle.
Golday, Dingle, like the linebackers were flying around today. And
Yeah.
I've said it. If you don't know when Dante's going to come back, you hope it's early in the season, but you don't know specifically when he's going to come back. We now have questions about Jalen Hunt, who was supposed to be the guy to step in if they needed somebody to step in for Dante. You've lost Micah Coleman for the year. Cam Rutherford, they're hoping to get back some this year. They did say there some next week. They did say Cam Wilson practiced today for the first time in a little while. Like there's just a lot of don't know yet. You're going to need your linebackers to be great. And it's a staple
Not
of
good.
this.
Great.
No, great. Like Tony the Tiger needs to like come give them a talk.
It's really good though to see that it's not just the three starters and that's all you
Yeah,
have. There's
yeah.
some depth there, and that's also really good to see.
Well, like I said, like we talked about Simeon Coleman a bunch, mainly because he was here in the spring and we got to see him, make plays all spring. Monte Wheaton, I think, is right up there. What Sat said that he calls them like the DC boys or the something like that because they're both from that DMV area. But both of those kids are going to play a lot in their career. I don't know about this year.
I don't think Tyson Vite's giving lip service when he says that pretty much everyone that is wearing a black jersey, at least was wearing a black jersey today, is going to see some time. I think you're going to see lots and lots of defensive rotations.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, well, I will let you get
one last note. Mason is all the way back. My God, he was booming the ball all over the place. And the thing is, I don't even know if he was the best Fletcher out there.
That's the thing is I think Max might be a little bit better, and Mason is really, really good. Like
I'll take the red shirt. I'll take the red shirt. Let's go.
Like I said, dude, like I said this maybe 3-4 days ago. One of the most fun things at practice every day is the punting segment because you get to watch the two of them go back to back with balls that like they look like they're going to touch the sky. Forget about like how they used to touch the bubble. They were just floating like they kicked helium. And the ball just kept going up and up and up.
They were booming the ball all over the place. Great to see him back at full form again.
Absolutely. All right, there you go. Keegan will have his notebook on the board. We'll see you Monday. That is the Nightcap brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.